Hey, what's up, everybody? Brotrio here, and we are here with another Whatcha Playing Powwow. This time, I don't have much to talk about. Scotty has Paper Mario to talk about. He's been dying to talk about it. And Aaron has, what was the crazy, scary game?
Sundered.
Sundered. He has Sundered to talk about.
That was my second game that I was talking about in the previous video that I didn't get around to.
So, I'm going to start things off with what I've been playing. And I've been playing a bit of this, that, and this. So, I've been playing Borderlands 3 again in my, console time. So, I've been playing as a playthrough with Zane, which is really fun, playing through the campaign again on True Vault Hunter. Trying to get back into it because we've done one of the DLCs, but we haven't done DLC 2 or 3. It's looking like DLC 4 is coming any day now. So,
yeah.
I'm kind of just easing back into it, trying to complete my list of collecting every legendary in some type. I'm trying to get all of them level 60 and anointed, but that's a bitch and a half to do. But I'm playing as Zane, and I'm liking it a good bit. They've definitely buffed a lot of guns since last time I played. Like, I know the bitch in the base game was not the best ever. Like, it was really good in Borderlands 2, but I think that was the bitch B combo.
Bitch B Maya? Oh my god.
I didn't even think about that. I was wondering why, it seemed really underwhelming in 3.
Well, they buffed it up a good bit, and I got one, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm just melting people's faces. I'm playing through on Mayhem 6 to try, because there's loot locked behind Mayhem 4 and some locked behind Mayhem 6. And Mayhem 6 isn't that bad, actually. Mayhem 4 is awesome. Like, it's not hard, and you get, super fast whenever you kill someone. But Mayhem 6 is, better loot, roughly the same modifiers, and nothing, too terrible. You have people immune to corrosive every now and then, but who gives a crap? I got ice for that. So I'm rocking Zane's drone and his dome with the shield, and it is so cool because I just put myself in my little bubble and nothing can touch me. I have my drone flying around shooting everything with ice bullets and dropping grenades every now and then. I have duct tape mod, a few points put into that, so randomly my first bullet of the clip will shoot out a grenade with it. It's so cool. I've been using the Quasar, which is a super singularity Tesla grenade, so it shoots out and just ragdolls everybody and yanks them towards it.
Nice.
So it doesn't do too much damage, which grenades in Borderlands 3 really don't do that much damage anyways, but it's been really cool to just disrupt the combat and change it up and just watch everything swirl around. Zane also has this one really cool skill where the more critical hits you get, the more bonus cryo damage is put onto a target. So if you just don't even have cryo, you can freeze people by shooting them in the head. And he's also got it gets better. He's got a skill that instantly refuels his action skill duration whenever you freeze someone by doing that. So doing it correctly, you could stay in your shield and have your drone flying around the entire time. So the reason I brought up the bitch was because I thought it was completely fixed, back to its former glory, and it was awesome, which it is fixed a little bit, but
the B's not in the game, so it's kind of hard to tell, unless they added it.
So I thought it was amazing, and it's still really good. But I overlooked the anointment on my bitch because my bitch is fire element, and the anointment is whenever my drone is flying around, I get 100% bonus cryo damage. So I'm sitting there lighting them up with ice and fire, freezing them.
That's cool as shit.
And hitting them in the head to freeze them more, keeping all my action skills up and going.
That's why Zane should have an exclusive status effect called hypothermia. I don't know what it would do, but that'd be cool.
Man, I wish, do damage over time while they're frozen.
They're just sneezing and shivering and they can't.
Zane is really fun, at least for the general mobbing of enemies and stuff. He's not the best ever for boss fights, but I'm going to Zane from flak who would fade away and kill bosses in 2 seconds.
And
so
I can't wait for all of us to get back into it because I rebuilt Amara because I got tired of fist fighting with Amara. Because now I'm elemental build Amara, which is basically Maya. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for that.
I've been finding some class mods for y'all, so I sent them in the loot mail, so check that whenever we get back
into that, man.
Yeah.
But in my spare time, mainly at work on my breaks, I've been playing through it was Donkey Kong Country because they added it to SNES Online on the Switch.
Finally.
And I beat that. And I've also been playing through Star Tropics.
Great choice. I beat it this year too.
They finally put it on NES Online.
Where's 2?
Come
on, man.
And that's like half of it. But the main reason I wanted to talk about these is because I spent money to buy these, and I want to talk about them. But I've been playing through them with the proper controllers on the Switch, and it might just be all in my head. But playing Donkey Kong with the actual SNES controller, it just feels way better. The NES controller does the same, and it doesn't feel as good because it's a rectangle and it's not as ergonomically like...
They even got the way the buttons click right. They feel the same as they did way back in the 90s, and that's insane to me.
Oh, yeah. This D-pad is still... like, the D-pad of all D-pads, it can't be touched. It's amazing. I also played through Mega Man 11 with this recently and all the X games. It doesn't add much, but if you have it, it is way better playing with this than anything else. Like, Joy-Con grip isn't the best for platformers, and Pro Controller is still good, but I don't like to use the sticks, but I find even with the option of a D-pad, I always default to using the sticks. And I don't know, just not having the option, I was doing way better in the Mega Man X games than I was with the Pro Controller last time I played through them all. So I don't know if it was in my head, or maybe since I play through them once a year, I get better every year or whatever. But it was really pleasant to play through them as all this. And all these games have held up really well. Like, Star Tropics is still, like, amazing. The only thing is, I don't know if I haven't gotten to the point in the game where, like, they're just like, hey, get this note wet and plug in this code.
They unfortunately didn't, at least when I played it, did not provide the solution that they provided in the Virtual Console back in the day.
Oh, really?
So you just have to Google it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not hard, but it's just like...
I figured they would just add that in on every future release.
Yeah, it was weird, because the Virtual Console had a virtual manual or whatever. I can't remember how they circumvented it, but
you,
it was just
you could push a button to dip it in water or something. I can't remember.
I don't know about that. I didn't play it on Virtual Console.
It had like a little animation, I think.
I didn't play it all the way through on Virtual Console, unfortunately, but... yeah, they provided no solution to that, so you just have to Google it. It's the same for every game, so it's not like detrimental, but weird.
But that's all I've been doing, basically. Just I beat The Last of Us, and I'm not ready for anything else like major, like story-wise. So I've just been playing like these turn my brain off games, like Borderlands. I'm just rinse, repeat, and hunt for loot. Star Tropics, it's NES from like. What was it, like 90s or 80s?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's not too complex, like thinking about it and everything. Like the puzzles, like make you think, but it's not like thinking that hard.
You hop on a block, and if that one's not right, you hop on the other block.
But that's all I got this week. So that's all I've been doing. It's fun. I have no regrets.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. I've been recently playing through Sundered. I've beat it once. I'm not gonna. I went ahead and looked up the alternate endings because I don't have time to play through it like 3 times at the moment. I probably will later because some of those other bosses looks cool. Because that was one thing that was really interesting to me is there's different final bosses depending on how you play.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like different routes or just different final bosses?
Different actual bosses.
Oh.
That's cool.
And I went with the Embrace path. Because from the abilities that you can get, that sounded like the most fun. Basically, you find this demon rock, It sounds stupid, but it's called the Shining Trapezohedron.
David
Something
Rock
like that.
sounded better than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's a actual thing from Lovecraft, I found out, so that's cool. It's like a little gemstone that lets you see into time and space or something like that. In this game, you use it as a sword.
Well,
But you're like this adventurer / scientist, as far as I can tell, exploring the desert, and you come across these ruins, and then the sand eats you.
Ooh.
And you find this thing, and it's just like, hey, I can help you. I can give you power if you use me. And of course, after like Shadow of the Colossus and everything like that, I'm just like, well, he's gonna betray me.
Yeah.
But I do need a sword to fight things, so I picked him up, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to play the game.
Yeah. There's not an option around picking up the sword?
No.
Oh, okay.
But as you play through the game, it's a really interesting like Metroidvania type setup. It reminds me a little bit of Dead Cells. How it like the basic layout of the areas is the same every time, but the individual like the locations of doors and things like that change.
Oh, okay.
Every time you die. And honestly, I've never played a game that it felt like the game was actively hating me.
You didn't play Death Stranding?
No, I did not. But like a lot of games, Dark Souls or Cuphead or something like that, that's just the developers being jerks. In this game, it like actively hunts you down. Like the longer you live, because basically what happens is the areas are empty. And every now and then you'll hear this gong sound, and then you just get mobbed by enemies.
Oh shit.
That sounds awful.
And it seems like the longer you've been alive, the bigger those mobs get.
Oh my god.
Because there were some areas where I was exploring, it might just be the farther you get into areas, but it was like a huge mobs of enemies.
We need to get that gong sound and wake Aaron up with it and see if he has like PTSD.
Yeah, the first area was pretty standard stuff. It's like, I'm guessing it represents like Earth, because everything's kind of rocky, but there's also like an old research base that was a digging operation that you find a lot of old technology. Like you find this, the race that was doing it's called the Valkyries.
Okay.
And you find a cannon from them that it just like turns into an arm cannon, shoots you back like 5 feet. It's got quite a kick to it. And it's really cool. So you have a gun and a sword, but the gun you have to charge up with energy you get from enemies. And in this first area, all the enemies are mechanical in nature. So I'm guessing they're like research drones that got either infected or repurposed by the like evil entity that's in the area. Because you get little bits and pieces of the story, and it sounds like basically these Valkyries came in, started mining stuff, and accidentally opened a portal to hell.
Oh shit.
Like
God.
Doom?
Yeah, pretty much like Doom. And so then they like sealed it up, but not fully. And either they abandoned it or they all died. I don't know. You don't see them. Technically. Because some of the bosses used to be Valkyries, but they got corrupted. Like the first area's boss, I'm going to use their code names because their real names are terrible. Because it's like apostrophes all over the place, and I don't know how to say it. But
yeah, it's Lovecraft. It's
yeah.
like Nazernehog, but it's spelled Nzuzktlu.
Yeah. So the first guy's name is Dominion. It's not going to sound like scary.
His Lovecraft name
Because
is Nazernehog.
Well, the best I can pronounce it is Zia Shi Kabept.
Nazernehog's better.
But it's not going to sound scary. He's a guy that's sitting in a chair that puts on a mask.
I mean, that sounds...
But he's probably like 20 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
And when he puts on the mask, he becomes one with the chair.
Ew.
And then gets a bunch of spikes that pop out of him.
So he can sit anywhere he wants.
Yeah, the chair starts levitating.
It's a chair.
I mean, I love like the Lovecraftian
And then,
like,
like
horror stuff, so I might have to play this.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a lot to deal with because it's not quite bullet hell, but it's close.
It's just hell.
Just hell. Sword and bullet hell.
Yeah.
I know. I really like the animation style. Like, I don't know if it's hand drawn, but it looks hand drawn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hand drawn. And everything just moves in like a weird, kind of creepy way. The robots not as much, but all the things that seem like they're alive do. But yeah, that guy, like that fight is absolutely nuts. He's just opening portals and there's like giant hands that come out of the portals to grab you and punch you. He opens up other portals and like demons come out of it. And that's pretty much the introduction to the game, is just everything's scary. All the bosses are gigantic.
Everything's bad.
And the game hates you. And then
It's the perfect game for 2020.
Yeah, like after you explore a little bit, you open up the area, or the second area, which is called the Holy City of Eschaton. But I called it Hell because it's red, everything's like jagged rocks all over.
Well, not as good as I thought it was.
And you're just getting attacked by these demons that are just like balls of worms and teeth.
Ugh!
Oh my god!
There's also like fleshy dragons
Ugh,
and
God.
other things like that.
I just hate the sound of that. What's the boss of that one? Is it a man on a couch and he puts on a hat?
No, this
what?
was my favorite boss in the game. His name is Hysteria.
What's his
Or-
Lovecraft name? Zahur game.
That one's like Shia, something like that. He had a human name, Emmett Nelson, because he used to be one of the Valkyries, and he got corrupted. So now he's a giant spider tank with a green radioactive skull inside.
What in the
hell?
And he is like...
Of course he's that.
That one is probably the biggest boss in the game. That thing is enormous. And it's just awesome to fight. That was my favorite fight in the game, too.
It sounds awesome.
And then you get to the third area, which is the cathedral, is what I'm going to say. This is the real word. And the boss of that area, it was a twin boss. They were called Rivalry, but their alternate names were Legion and Salvation. And one is like just a figure in a cloak that basically headbutts you.
That doesn't sound too
And the
bad.
other one is like a floating torso with a giant machine gun.
That sounds worse.
Oh my god.
But after radioactive skull spider tank, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, and they don't look as scary as a lot of the other ones, but that was one of the hardest boss fights I've had in video games. Because you have to deal with both of them, and there's like a giant crystal floating in the middle, and that's the only way to hurt them, is to get the giant crystal. But it also has a force field. So
So you just have to survive until the force field runs out, basically.
well, every time you can like knock one of them out,
Yeah.
and then the force field goes away, but the other one gets pissed. And you just have to keep alternating between the two until you finally get it.
Wow. Do you get one before the other, or do they just both die at the same time?
They have a joint health bar,
Okay.
but they also have individual ones for each time you knock them out.
Okay.
And that was a rough fight. But at that point, you've gotten a bunch of upgrades, you're pretty good at fighting the enemies, so it wasn't as bad. It was just really hard to do all the timing of it to actually win the fight. And then speaking of abilities, like at this point, every time you beat a boss, there's also mini bosses that are just giant versions of the enemies. And each one of those gives you a piece of an Elder Shard. And you get a full Elder Shard from each boss. And that's your currency to upgrade your abilities. Because you get abilities at these shrines throughout the game. And you can bring the Elder Shards there to get it like super powered. Like there's a double jump dash that you can do. But if you give the Elder Shard to that ability, you get like a multi-teleporting thing. And it's really cool. But that's the embrace side. You have to, or you like offer that to the trapezohedron, and it increases your abilities. But the alternate way, if you want to resist it, there's this furnace where you can just go burn him, and he gets pissed at you because you're like limiting the potential power he can get.
So you don't get power-ups if you do that? So it makes the
You
game
do, but it increases like base stats.
Oh.
Like, it's kind of weird because he promises you power, but you actually become more powerful if you sacrifice the shards.
He's a liar.
But his abilities are so much more fun to explore with. Because, like, there's one where if you hold the jump button, you turn into, like, a gargoyle and you can glide.
Oh, shit.
What the hell?
Yeah, when you let him upgrade you, he slowly turns you into a demon.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
That's kind of cool.
So, like, instead of, like, the base ability, you get one that lets you run up walls. But when his version of that, you grow a bunch of extra arms and legs, and you can just walk up and down the wall.
Oh my god. So you turn into the Eldritch Horror.
Yes.
Wow. Oh god.
Huh.
That does sound like the funnest playthrough.
And it just sounded like the most fun way, yeah.
Which skill tree makes you able to take the gong away and just run around a little without being stressed out?
There isn't one.
Just grab it and break it and all the monsters get sad.
Yeah, so since I did the embrace path, my final boss, well, first you fight the pure version of yourself.
What?
Like
the
she
human version?
Kind of.
Okay.
Like a mirror image of yourself, basically. But
So like
she's,
what Dark Link sees when you fight him.
Yes.
So you're instead of Dark Link, you're fighting Light Link.
Yes.
Oh, that's sweet.
And that's pretty cool because you kind of get a taste of what the other side would be. Because she's stronger than you. So I'm guessing she has all the Valkyrie abilities and the sacrifice thing done. Where she sacrificed the shards. So then you eventually get her. And then she transforms into this, like, mound of flesh and limbs.
The word flesh
Yeah.
in this context, I just know it's nasty.
It is. And that, you're literally fighting your own humanity for the final boss. And then,
Wow.
when you kill it, you go full demon and unleash hell.
And do you rule over the Earth?
Or whatever planet this is, yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Now that's a dark ending. That's like Fable's dark ending is just like, hey, you let everyone stay dead and you get $1 million, like in Fable 2. That's it? You kill your sister, you get a cool sword. No, you're a demon and you rule the planet now.
This one, you're basically the queen of the demons.
That's an awesome ending. Because that's like the bad ending, but it's at least happy for you. Because you rule over the demons. That's awesome. I need to play this. You turned me off at first with Metroidvania, but I might need to power through.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like those.
There's only three
context.
areas. There's only 3 areas too.
Yeah, it seems
so
pretty short.
Fairly short. I think I probably put like 20, maybe 30 hours into it. But I was exploring and getting lost a lot. So if you didn't do that, it would be a lot less.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, that does sound really cool.
Now for these, I looked up the other bosses because I don't feel like playing through it right now. But I probably will later because the other final bosses look pretty cool. The one you get for a mix of both, because you can just get some demon abilities and also some of the Valkyrie ability upgrades. So you can like embrace and resist in any combination you want.
That's probably the sad ending.
They're all sad endings.
Oh.
I already told you the closest to a happy ending.
Okay.
That's the closest to happy?
Okay.
Wow, okay. So what are these monsters?
Okay. I'm not sure exactly how to say this, but his name is
Ukchungana.
Nyarlathotep. I like his title. He's called the Crawling Chaos. And he's just like
Sounds
The-
unsettling.
the top half of... He basically looks like an Egyptian god, like kind of an Anubis type of look,
Okay.
except with a human face.
Like a sphinx.
Kinda.
Does he have like a centipede body?
You don't see his body. He's still coming out of the portal.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think he's got a centipede body in actual like Lovecraft stuff.
Oh, I got you. And then, I can't remember what that ending is. But then if you do the full resist temptation ending, you do that final boss again, and then the trapezohedron gets pissed at you and leaves and joins with him. So
Oh,
then
shit.
you're fighting this combination thing without your sword.
How do you even fight?
You can only use the cannon.
Oh, the arm cannon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one looked really cool. And then, like, that was actually the most depressing ending, in my opinion. Because you beat him, you break the portal, and you're just stuck down there.
So you're just in hell.
It's basically the, like, secret ending of Hollow Knight.
Huh.
Yeah, that sounds like the demon one is the happy ending.
Wow. Yeah, it does.
I can't remember what the third ending is. There might just be 2 endings and just 3 final bosses.
Still, I love the ending.
But, yeah.
I like both of them, honestly. Like, the thing where the sword leaves you and join with the bad guy
That's cool.
is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like a really fun, like, finale to the story.
But you ruling over Earth, raising hell, is really, really cool.
Well, speaking of corrupted older gods, we've got Paper Mario. That's actually
Well,
like
now I'm interested.
that's actually part of the plot of the game is corrupted gods.
Really?
Yes.
Is that the origami stuff where they're just like, you must crease yourself?
Yes! Kind of. The Velementals, which is a dumb name, they're ancient elemental deities that Ollie is powerful enough to turn into origami and corrupt that you have to go free from their corruption.
The guy's name is Ollie.
King Ollie.
Okay. I mean, okay. I need to switch into Mario mode, not Lovecraft
Yeah.
and Hell.
So yeah,
Yozernahog names.
you've got the earth, fire, water, and ice. I'm just gonna say elementals because I hate Velementals. The name. The fights aren't that
That's
great.
kind of cool, though, because vellum is a type of paper.
That makes sense. I figured it was a paper pun because that's most of the humor in this game. But
Well, yeah, it's Paper
well,
Mario.
some of the like sometimes the toads are like they'll be like a beetle and you hit them and they're like, man, I was just getting the hang of crawling, and then like run off and stuff like that. And there's one of them that was one of them was climbing on the wall as a beetle, but he stayed on the wall, so now it's just this paper toad crawling on the wall like a bug. And he was just like, man, I love climbing. I'm just glad it's not raining for a Breath of the Wild
Oh,
reference.
that's funny.
Nice.
But so anyway, you free these gods, and every time you free one, you find the bibliofold for it, which lets your partner in this game, Olivia, she can turn into him now.
Oh.
Interesting.
Is that like that rubber band monster?
No, those are the actual bosses. The elementals are mini bosses.
What? That's
Oh.
weird.
So you free them, and you normally have to use their power against the actual boss of that level, but you have to use them to solve puzzles and stuff in the overworld and stuff like that too. But sometimes it'll be like you bring the earth elemental back for a boss toward the end of the game kind of thing. So they get used throughout the whole game. And they're all really cool because the earth one is a big turtle from that trailer. And the paper Koopas worship it like it's their god. And they even get upset when you step on its visage on the floor. Like some of them are praying to it, and if you step on it, they're like, "Eh."
Really?
Yeah, it's really funny. And he's got a museum kind of thing dedicated to him that that gives you like cheesy museum information and stuff like that while you're going to fight him. The fire one is straight Moltres. Just 100% Moltres. That was the most annoying one. Because all the bosses and mini-bosses have their own way to mess up the battlefield. Like the Earth one, well, not the Earth one because he's the first one. But the fire one, like he'll just throw his feathers and they're on fire. And if you walk through them, you get damaged. And it was really annoying, but I found out I did it wrong. Because when he throws his feathers, his health goes down. I found out. So he sucks them back in at the end of it when he loses enough to, or when you hurt him enough, he sucks them back in to get his health back. So if you let him throw all his feathers, you can basically kill him in one hit. If you let him throw all of his feathers while you're prepping and healing and not hurting him.
That's interesting.
So if I had fought him right, it might have been more interesting, but I was just annoyed the whole time. You use the water of elemental to put him out, and then beat the shit out of him with 1,000-fold arms. That was my basic strategy. That's the strategy all the time: is you get near him, do the thing, and then beat the shit out of him with the 1,000-fold arms. Like Mario just like gets him like this, and, and then so that was cool. The bosses, like the first one's colored pencils, and they all have their hook. And they all get killed in a pretty brutal way. Like God of War style, like old God of War.
Does he get like shoved in a pencil sharpener?
No, so he's colored pencils fires his pencils like missiles. And you can close his lid to make him damage himself because the missiles blow up inside him, but that's not how you kill him. How Mario kills him is he's got all his pencils spinning and he's going to shoot you with a super missile. This is like the least brutal one. Mario grabs them and slams the pencils into himself, and that kills him.
Oh.
And then, Rubber Band? He's interesting because you have to get close, does the same thing as the fire one pretty much, but he shoots rubber bands that interfere because where you're walking. Because with bosses, when you do the rings, Mario's the one you're trying to get to move around, right? Not the enemies.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So bosses are different from regular fights for that. But he get to get to the on switch and the 1,000-fold arm circle, because you have to turn it on every round sometimes. You need down arrows, but he shoots rubber bands and gets rid of all the down arrows. But the rubber bands stay there, so if you arrange it right, they shoot you up or down depending on how they're pointing. So you just like boing, boing, boing and shoot all the way down into it. And the further you are from him, the closer you are, the more rubber bands you grab and yank off his head or something like that. So if you're far away, you only grab one. If you're up close, you grab like 4 and yank him off his head. Then at the end of it, his core is basically a Live Strong wristband. It's this yellow wristband, and you have to grab him with your 1,000-fold arms while he's dodging you and trying to hit you and stuff. But the way Mario kills him is he beats him up, then he grabs him and flicks him out, flicks him away like a rubber band. So maybe that's the least brutal one. Hole Punch, which is my favorite one, because he can clench on Mario and punch a hole out of him, and that cuts your health by a quarter. He can do it 3 times.
Oh wow!
And you have to hit him enough to get it back. And he also hole punches parts off the stage. He hole punched the sun out of the sky in the desert area. Like, he is insanely powerful. But if you hit him, he'll spit out a lot of the hole punches and you'll get some of the ring back and stuff like that. Or he has an attack where he spits all his paper discs out at you, and that's how you get your health back and stuff like that. But he was my favorite one.
Wait, he heals you with an attack?
You have to... No, it hits you and hurts you, but you have to go around the circle and get it, because it lands on the arena.
Okay.
And whatever he punched out of the arena fixes the arena. But the way you kill him is Mario grabs his hole punch cover and just rips it off, and then he dies. The way you kill... I can't remember how you kill the scissors. I think they just kind of die.
Can we pause?
Yes.
I'm so lost. Like, can you explain the arena?
Okay, so in normal fights, you arrange the enemies and try to line them up to get damage bonuses, and so you can hit them all at once.
Okay.
With jumps or hammers, depending on how they're lined up. With the boss fights, the boss stays in the center, and there's arrows and little power-ups you can get, and on switches and magic circles to change it to the right elemental or do the 1,000-fold arms. But you have to line up the arrows with where you want Mario to land. So if you want to get close to the final boss, you line it up with an attack tile to attack the boss.
Okay.
I'm assuming this will make more sense if we see the battle happen.
Is it kind of like a board game?
It is kind of like a board game.
Okay, because it sounds like a board game.
Yeah, and Scissors, they all have their different personalities too. Colored Pencil's an artist with a French stereotype. Rubber Band is a theater guy. Hole Punch likes to dance.
So it's all the arts.
Tape is a race car from Brooklyn.
What?
Tape has a Brooklyn stereotypical accent, and when you destroy his tape dispenser, he races around the arena like peeling out like a car and taping down tiles so you can't move them correctly. And you have to burn it off with the fire elemental. Burn all his tape away. But the way you kill him is Mario just grabs him and just yanks his tape off, and then when he's down to the cardboard tube, he dies when you do it enough.
Oh no!
I don't remember how Scissors dies, but Scissors is cool because he can kill you in one hit. He just cuts you in half. So at first he's a fencer, so he's like, I want to take it easy on you because I want a good fight, and he puts a sheath on himself basically. If you hit the sheath, he's like, oh, that's how you want to do it, and just gets out. And if you jump on him while his scissors are up, you get cut in half. Or if he does his attack and you don't jump over it in time, you get cut in half and you're dead.
Oh, wow.
Other than that, he's pretty basic. He removed a few tiles. That's about it. Stapler is the most brutal. He's a dog. But Stapler, you find out, is why these origami beings can't change back. Because he staples them.
Oh.
So he was kind of basic like Scissors, a little harder than Scissors though, because you have to, if you stomp on his head, you can make him waste staples, which makes his attacks less powerful. So he'll hit you with far fewer staples if you stomp enough of them out and stuff like that. But the way Mario kills
boss fights in this sound really cool.
The boss fights are really cool. The elementals are a little whatever, but the boss fights are cool. The way Mario kills Stapler is he grabs him and just backbreaks him and bends him in half and kills him.
Oh,
it's
man.
Brutal. Speaking of brutal, the story does not shy away from dark themes and death.
Really?
Like the first origami thing you fight is this Goomba that was fanboying over meeting Mario. He got turned origami, and then he's like, but I never got to meet Toad with his last moments of consciousness before you kill him.
Oh no.
The story is very interesting. It's kind of basic, but it ramps up toward the end because you find out King Ollie was made by an origami craftsman Toad. Of course it's Toad. They're all Toads. But he made Ollie with a secret technique called the Life Fold, which if you put enough love and care into it, you can bring your origami creations to life. Because he wanted that to be his for the Origami Festival at the beginning of the game, he wanted to make an origami village with a legit origami king for his masterpiece. So the plan was people man, you made a cool castle, and then Ollie's just hey, I'm here too, basically. But Ollie got mad because of a stupid reason and trapped him in between dimensions. Which is
how?
He just puts them behind wallpaper and they say it's in between dimensions. That's about it.
Oh, wow.
Ollie has godlike powers though because of the origami shit. I'll get to that in a minute. So Ollie made Olivia because he didn't want to be alone, and Olivia was nice and left him. So that's the whole. Ollie's whole motivation is his master put a signature on him, and Ollie was mad because he scribbled on him.
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah, but when Ollie finds out it was a signature and had a message of love, he has a change of heart at the end. Whatever. But the story is fun and emotional. The game is gorgeous, except for the white outlines that I don't care for. I like the black outlines of the first 2 or 3. No, even Sticker Star had black outlines. I like those better, but it's fun. It's super quirky. Exploring the world is generally fun. I never got bored of finding toads or collectibles or question blocks or anything like that. The partners, you don't really do anything with them. They just do their own thing, and they might have overworld abilities. That's about it. But Bobby, he's a great character. He's a funny Bob-omb with amnesia. Olivia's great. She's so sweet and she's funny. I love her so much. Professor Toad, he's cool. He digs in the overworld, and you can dig up treasure with him. And,
why Professor Toad?
No idea.
Have Captain Toad sitting right there.
He's got his pickaxe ready.
There are several Captain Toads in the game. They're all boat captains, though.
Oh.
And
Captain Toad needs more love.
Kamek is your partner in one level.
That's cool.
The final level, your partner's Bowser, but he's all folded. He's a little card, so all he does all he can do is shoot fire. But the desert area specifically, the desert area and the Great Sea area are fantastic. Great Sea is mini Wind Waker. The desert area is just cool. I can't think of anything to relate it to. Most of the mini games are really fun and easy to, like, not easy, but easy enough to accomplish. The music is really good. There's even a faceless Toad disco party to it, because the hole punch was punching out all their faces.
Oh.
And
I was going to ask why they had no faces.
You had to have a disco party to lure out hole punch, so you had to gather up a bunch of toads, and they wanted their faces back, so they're going to help you kill hole punch. So toward the beginning of like Act 3 or whatever you'd call it, Ollie shows up and he's like, "All right, you're killing my guys. You're a thorn in my side, basically." And he's like, "But you can only do it because of Olivia." So he just like psychically picks up a giant rock and puts it on Olivia, so she can't help Mario anymore, and it blocks the entrance. And Bobby's like, "Oh, I got something we can get her out with. Just take me here." And you take him here and you fight Gooper Blooper from Mario Sunshine again, basically. But he's Origami, of course.
You rip his mouth off?
No, you just have to. There's paper mache bad guys like in the trailer, but you fight them. You fight them in real time. It's not like the battle system. You just have to like dodge them and hit them a few times, and then they die. The Gooper Blooper had tentacles and all this stuff you had to hit. But so you get this box for Bobby, and he's like, "All right, yeah, let's go back to Olivia." You get there. He had no fuse. He puts a fuse on his head, gives this little speech, and blows himself up, killing himself to save Olivia.
Oh my god, really?
I legit teared up, because he was basically like, "Mario, love you, bro. Thanks for everything." And Mario's eyes got real wide, and he started like sprinting toward him, and then he just blew up.
Oh no!
And Olivia got out. She's like, "Wow, it was stuffy under there. Hey, where's Bobby?" And then Mario's like just sad. She's like,
"Wow.
Wait, well, okay, I heard a big explosion, but where's Bobby?" And then she's like, "Wait." She realizes it and gets really depressed and runs off, and you have to go cheer her up.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's super dark, but I love it.
And then it was crazy. So, and then you get to this one spa level. It's like up in the clouds or whatever. It's weird, but it was a cool enough level. But Bowser's castle, flying castle, had crashed there, and all the Bowser's minions are like indentured servants up there trying to pay for what they destroyed. So, but when you finally get ready to go fight, who was it? Castle? Scissors. You get ready to go fight Scissors, who for some reason Bowser Jr. didn't die when he got cut to ribbons by Scissors. He had to go on most of the quest to put Bowser Jr. back together.
Huh.
But so, where was I? Okay, Kamek gives this speech and it's to the troops, and he's like, "Hey troops, we're about to go get our king back," and they charge through the front door and start beating up on the Origami villains in the dining room. So I was like, "Oh shit, that was f***ing glorious!" It was just rallying cry that Kamek did. Then you go fight Scissors and save Bowser. But you have to fight. You were talking about the Rat King. You were talking about a mound of flesh. Now I've got one called the Paper Mistake.
Scissor, oh no! I don't like that name.
Scissor cut all the faces off Bowser's minions and glued them to a paper mache beetle, basically. So it's turning all the faces into like chomping Koopa heads, like the blight spots in Breath of the Wild, kind of.
Huh.
And they're coming at you. You gotta break them, and he's got Kamek's face glued to him too, so he's got Kamek's magic, and you have to destroy all the paper and then peel Kamek's face off of him, and then it's just a regular paper mache battle, whatever.
Okay,
it was so
that's
weird.
really odd.
Okay, this sounds really awesome.
Then you get to the final level. It's Peach's castle, and Luigi shows up. There's a lot of Luigi in this game, which I like.
Oh, good. I was going to ask if he was even there.
He the whole time he's trying to hunt down the key to Peach's castle, and he ends up giving you all these other keys that you need anyway. But Luigi doesn't do that much. He walks in with you, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got Luigi and Bowser. We're about to do this." and then he just like falls in the hole that Mario falls in the trailer, and that's it for Luigi. But after you beat Stapler, Bowser gets unfolded, so you got full power Bowser on your side, and he gives a rallying cry to his troops when they're riding to Ollie's base, and he's just like, basically, let's go get this who's messing up our land. All the troops are like, yeah! I was like, oh my god. It gets you so pumped at the end. But then you finally get to Ollie and confront him. And he's like, now, and the final battle with him, he's changing between the Vellumentals. Because he can do it too.
Okay.
So you have to have the right Vellumental to counter him. You have to kind of guess which one. Most of them are easy, but like Earth, you have to use ice. Yeah. Earth, you use ice or something like... I think it's ice. Yeah, it's ice. Ice is a polar bear. He's cool. But you freeze the Earth one and throw him upside down so you can hit his bottom shell and stuff like that. Water puts out fire. It's all the developmental fights, but like stripped down to be short. Okay. And after you beat him, beat the first form, he gets pissed off. And you saw the toads in the gallery and stuff like that cheering you on, like in Thousand Year Door, kind of. He gets pissed off and makes a crater, and all the toads fall off. So, and then makes the entire background into this weird like origami realm. And since he's origami, he's powered up by it. So Bowser's like, and he turns himself into kind of a big monster. And Bowser's like, I'm not scared of him. I'm just as big as him. And starts marching toward him. And Olivia's like, wait, he's being powered up by all this origami. Let me try something. And she folds Bowser into Origami Bowser. So now Bowser's equivalent strength to him. And Ollie's form and Origami Bowser have a sumo wrestling match. While you get behind Bowser and do the 1,000 fold arms and like hit the stage a lot. And for some reason that makes Bowser stronger. And you have to hit it enough where he can sumo Ollie off the edge. Then you think it's over, and I can't remember what happens to Bowser. He slaps Bowser out of the way when he's coming back up or something. But Ollie's coming back up, and he's huge. He's pissed. He's got 1,000 fold arms now.
Oh shit!
And this giant magic Olivia's like, oh, I got one thing to try, and she's like, the origami master gave this to me, and she has this magic circle to make her into her ultimate fold or whatever. And Ollie's like, not that, and changes the battle thing around, so you have to like solve a little puzzle while you're trying to rebuild the magic circle. But while you're doing that, like poison miasma is coming up, and if you don't do it fast enough, you instantly die.
Oh god!
And but while you're solving it, Ollie's trying to slap at you, and you have to time it right, and like Mario like slink between his fingers, or he'll like make his hands into blades and come at you, and you have to jump over him. And toward the end of it, Mario's like thwarting everything. Like when he tries the blades, Mario pulls the hammer out and like smashes his hands. And then when you finally make the magic circle, she turns into a giant hammer, and you get the 1,000 fold arms and just beat the shit out of Ollie. Then Ollie falls, and he's all unfolded and crumpled and shit. And Olivia's like, I'm sorry, but you were going too far. And she reads in the message that the origami thing, it was like, Ollie, I hope you're a wise and caring ruler. I love you, or something like that. And then his signature. And Ollie's like, I can't believe I was so angry over this, basically, and then dies. And Ollie, you came in and Ollie had all these origami cranes, because this is an actual thing I've heard of. If you have the patience to fold 1,000 cranes, you can have any wish granted. And he's like, so he was going to wish for everything to be origami. That was his whole goal. But so he's like, Olivia, make me into the 1,000th crane and have whatever you want, basically, and then dies. So she makes him into the 1,000th crane and wishes for everything Ollie made to be turned back to normal, to be destroyed, basically. Okay. Which includes Olivia.
Oh, shit.
Olivia's dead now. I was so sad.
There's a lot of self-sacrifice in this game.
Olivia's dead, man. It was terrible. Oh, and I forgot about the World War Z Goombas. There's a bunch of tiny paper mache Goombas on when you're running up the final hill to get to Peach's castle, and like these Goombas are just coming after you, and like they're killing each other while they're doing it, but you're jumping up cliffs and stuff, and they just kind of pile up on top of each other until they can keep chasing you, and Kamek like does split form and like holds them back and is like, get to Bowser! And like, then Bowser Jr.'s like, no, you gotta get to my dad, and just like hops down there and starts beating the shit out of him, and it's like,
wow, that's awesome.
It was crazy. The the bad thing, the good outweighs the bad. It's one of my favorite Paper Marios. It's definitely a step up from what we have been getting. The battles get a little repetitive. Toads and basic enemies, and that's all you have to look at. The whole game gets a little boring. It's just not as good as the first three. It's not as good as the original 1,000 Year Door or Super. That's just, well, in my opinion, of course. The white outlines, of course. This stupid rafting minigame. It took me like 3 days off and on trying for a long time. It was terrible.
You and your Mario minigame.
I hated it. I didn't think it would get any worse than that. But then I got to the Shy Guy game show shit. Shy Guys finished last. That's what this shit is called. It is horrible. It's not bad to get past it for the story, but if you want 100% it, you've got to get a perfect run. And you can't choose what category you have. It's like Jeopardy kind of style.
Okay.
But it's random. So if you get the hardest one right out of the gate, you fail, you're like, okay, whatever. If you get all the easy ones and then get the one you're bad at, like right at the end, oh my god. Then you have to start over. It's so bad. Most of it's kind of easy. The one I was having the most trouble with is it's like the origami. I mean, it's like the puzzle with Ollie, where you have to like rearrange it and make the picture right. Okay. But it's so much harder than the one in the actual game. It's just, I can't really describe it. It's just, the first 2 levels of that are easy. The third one is terrible. I hate it. So that Shy Guys Finish Last pretty much stopped me from 100%ing the game. I got all the toads. I got all the collectibles. I got all the art. The only thing I'm missing is that trophy. So that stopped me. But I looked up the 100% ending. Totally not worth it. I'm glad I didn't put myself through hell getting it.
What is it?
The 100% ending is they're having the regular ending. They're having the Origami Festival, and Peach is like, man, and Mario gets all sad when he's looking at the Origami man's creation, and she's like, "You're thinking about Olivia, aren't you?" She's like, She's like, "I'm just sad. I'll never get to thank her for all she did and all this stuff." Then it ends, and it's like fireworks, whatever. Everything's back to normal. But at the very end, the Origami creator comes back and he puts a little thing of Ollie and Olivia in the chairs. I was like, "Wait, is she alive?" No, just Origami, just sitting there enthroned in the Origami kingdom that he made. So totally not worth it. I'm glad I didn't try too hard at the Shy Guy game.
Alright, so that's the 100% one?
That's the 100% ending.
Okay.
It's just like a little snippet of that. But overall, man, it was super fun. The story I really enjoyed. Characters, like, not quite in league with the ones from 1,000 Year Door or anything, but the characters were good. It was very funny. I was constantly at least snickering every time I rescue a toad. They say something stupid or something off the wall, or like one toad I pulled out of the ground and he was buried deeper than the others. There was like a patch of toads to pull out of the ground, but he's like all the way in there, and he's like, "They buried me the deepest because I'm the strongest," or something weird. And then he runs off. It was just so weird and fun, and the story legit made me super emotional, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you're looking for old school Paper Mario, go with like Bug Fables. But if you're looking for a fun paper adventure, get Origami King. It's good. It's a good ass game. It's better than Sticker Star, 100%. I never played Color Splash, but it cannot be worse than Sticker Star. So I would put Origami King a solid number 4 in the Paper Marios.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, I haven't played the original in a long ass time, but I just like the RPG combat system and everything better. But Origami King is solid. If you're still on the fence about it, I recommend you give it a shot. It's a very good game.
Alright. And that's going to wrap up this Whatcha Playing Powwow. That's what we've been playing. Hope y'all liked listening to it. And stay tuned for more Brotrio videos in the future.